Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Friday, October 21st. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Matt Hoffman in for Maya Trabulsi. Tonight, the playoff push is on for two San Diego teams. Game 3 of the National League Championship Series is underway in Philadelphia right now. The Padres are trying to rack up another win against the Phillies to bring this series back to San Diego. KPBS reporter Kitty Alvarado, she's live outside of Petco Park where fans are gathered for a watch party. Kitty, what's going on down there?
Well, Matt, it is absolutely electric. As you know, the Padres are not even playing here, but you wouldn't even know it by the sound coming out of Petco Park. It is absolutely incredible. The fans are going wild cheering on their Padres. And of course, it is tied 1-1, the best of 7 series. They are playing in Philadelphia, but the Padres, they are not the only local team that has made it to the postseason with big games this weekend. The city also has the San Diego Wave Football Club, who are playing in the National Women's Soccer League playoffs. In front of a record-breaking crowd at Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego's Wave continued their incredible inaugural season to win against the Chicago Red Stars in the quarterfinal.
Off a couple of bodies, picked up by Jakobsen. Now Morgan, who rifles the shot, and it's in! Of course, it had to be Alex Morgan!
Obviously, immensely proud of the team's performance last week against Chicago after going behind and showing such resilience.
Coach Casey Stoney and the players held a news conference ahead of their trip to Oregon to play the Portland Thorns for a spot in the finals.
I hope it's another great game. We know we're going to have to be at our very, very best to progress to the final, but we're excited, we're prepared, and we're really looking forward to it.
Stoney says the fans have made all the difference in their season.
We see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, we know that you're with us every step of the way, and you've made a big difference to us at key moments in the season.
Goalkeeper Kaylin Sheridan says the way the fans have shown up for the team is more than they could have ever imagined.
We represent them, but they also represent us, and we want to make sure that we put everything we can forward for the city. And I think the Padres and the Loyal are doing that too.
The Wave will have a watch party of their own on Sunday at Snapdragon Stadium, and the Padres are holding watch parties tomorrow and Sunday, and you can get tickets for free on the team's website, although Saturday is already sold out, and as you can see, fans are continuing to trickle in, probably just getting off of work. So it's going to be a very exciting weekend for San Diegans, and they have been waiting a very long time for this, but you know what they say, good things come to those who wait. Reporting live from downtown, Kitty Alvarado, back to you in the studio.
Sounds like a lot of fun down there, Kitty. More interruptions for travelers looking to ride the train this weekend. Train service between Oceanside and San Diego will be canceled through Monday. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne tells us it's because of repair work being done on the tracks.
Trolley's running though, right?
These Padre fans were hoping to catch the train from Oceanside to San Diego for the watch party at Petco Park. But to their disappointment, no trains are running. Coaster and Amtrak services are suspended until Monday to make way for repairs on the coastal rail line.
This weekend is what we refer to as an absolute work window. So these absolute work windows are when train service is suspended between Oceanside and Santa Fe Depot, that Amtrak and Coaster service for the weekend. Allie DeVoe with Sandag says these suspensions are planned in advance by the transportation agencies. They choose these windows to have the least operational impact and community impact for us to do work on the corridor that would otherwise not be possible when trains are running, or would be very difficult when trains are running. North County Transit District will be doing routine maintenance along the coastal corridor.
while Sandag works in Encinitas.
The El Portal undercrossing project, which was recently opened to the public. We just need to do some minor work, and this work consists of installing ballast rock around the undercrossing bridge to create FRA-compliant walkways and ramps.
These closures are on top of the Amtrak and Metrolink suspensions because of erosion near San Clemente. Emergency repairs started earlier this month. Train service between Oceanside and Orange County is now expected to return in mid-December. Shuttle buses are available for travelers looking to get from Oceanside to Orange County. And Breeze buses are available in lieu of trains from North County to San Diego. Coaster and Amtrak service will return Monday morning, but officials are warning of delays. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
Here in San Diego County and across the country, there's been a surge in respiratory illnesses among children. Pediatric beds in intensive care units nationwide are about 80% full. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Dwindling children's hospital beds, intensive care units being pushed to capacity, overwhelmed healthcare workers, all triggered by a surge in a common respiratory virus, also known as RSV, spreading at unprecedented levels amongst children.
Our beds are filled to capacity. The kids keep coming in. I have never seen this level of surge, specifically of RSV, coming into our hospital.
Federal data shows pediatric hospital beds are filling up more now than they have over the past 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Over the last 10 days, we've had over 100 kids that have come in with RSV into our system, which is really unprecedented.
Some doctors say children being more isolated to protect them from COVID may have fueled the rise in RSV cases.
I think their immune system just hasn't seen the number of viruses a typical child prior to the pandemic would have seen.
Kids were socially distanced. They were wearing masks for a long time, properly so, and we needed to do that to prevent COVID infections. But now these viruses are capturing a population that is completely not used to them.
Despite the surge, doctors say they don't want parents to be too alarmed.
RSV is not as serious as COVID was in the adult population. We can take care of these kids. We can actually provide the care. The majority of them will get better, will go home.
Ivan Rodriguez, KPBS News.
San Diego is seeing a spike in the respiratory virus RSV among infants. Rady Children's Hospital is reporting about 300 cases just within the last couple of weeks. The virus typically causes cold or flu-like symptoms, but health officials say it can be serious for kids with underlying conditions. There's about 30 young children in the ICU at Rady's with RSV. It's unclear why officials are seeing this uptick right now.
Most babies who will get this infection will get a little runny nose. They might have some cough, congestion. If they start to have trouble breathing, if they aren't able to feed or eat, or if they start to be really lethargic, those are the signs that say you need to take your kid into the emergency room.
Rady's officials say increases started happening in the summer and our region likely has not peaked yet. They recommend calling your pediatrician first if you start to notice some symptoms. They also recommend taking the same precautions as you would for the flu and COVID-19. As we enter what's expected to be a brutal flu season, a new report reveals inequities in who's getting a flu shot and who's ending up in the hospital. That's coming up a little bit later on Evening Edition. As the city of Chula Vista works out what to do with the now closed Harborside Park, it's asking neighbors what they would like to see there. The park sits just feet from Harborside Elementary School. Complaints of drug use, homelessness led to its closure. Now a chain link fence is up around to keep people from getting in. Neighbors say they didn't think the park was safe for their kids.
I'm glad they shut it down. I'm glad they're coming up with ideas for people in the community to get together and, put their heads together and see what can be done with the park, because they deserve to have a place that they can go to that's safe.
The city has hosted a series of meetings for neighbors to give their comments on Harborside Park, but today is the final day to fill out that survey. Neighbors can check off things if they'd want to see, like a park, like a playground, a swimming pool, or even a community garden. The city says the feedback will be compiled and presented to the city council during a future meeting. From there, they'll decide the best way to move forward. For the first time in 8 years, Chula Vista voters will elect a new mayor this November. The two candidates, Councilman John McCann and Amar Campanajar, they frame this race as a choice between experience and new ideas. KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis has more on the race.
John McCann has been on the Chula Vista City Council for 16 years. If elected mayor, he would be the most experienced elected official in the city. McCann's pitch to voters is that Chula Vista needs a proven leader right now to complete the Bayfront Development Project and bring a 4-year university to the South Bay.
You need somebody who has experience and has proven results. And we've had proven results at being able to get the Bayfront project, a $1.2 billion project, off the ground.
Amar Campanajjar spent 4 years running unsuccessful congressional campaigns in the East County. He is now running for mayor in Chula Vista because he believes the city needs new leadership. And he points to the city's handling of the homeless encampment in Harborside Park. There, the city allowed the encampment to grow out of control and had to shut down the public park.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be desired in the way that we are approaching this issue. And I think a new mayor with a new perspective and a new vision can address this better.
In November, Chula Vista voters will decide if they agree. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
Imperial Beach residents will welcome a new mayor to their city in January, 8 years after winning his first term in office by just 43 votes. Serge Dedina is returning to his environmental activism roots. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson has details.
The Imperial Beach Library holds a special place in Serge Dedina's heart. The mayor grew up in the old library, spending a lot of time there. So renovating this building has been a centerpiece of his effort to renovate his hometown.
Everybody got it. You don't need to make it fancy, but you need to make it accessible, colorful, warm, and friendly, and a resource for everybody.
County officials, businesses, community advocates all brought in and spent millions to turn this community hub into something special.
And it helped us fuse everything that we did in Imperial Beach over the last 8 years to really renovate and just restore this beautiful dynamic we have in Imperial Beach of the ocean and the community, and doing things that make the city better for every part of the city. And that's what this is about.
Dedina's energy and ability to build coalitions exemplified how San Diego's southernmost beach community changed during his tenure. The library, senior center, and park are a focal point, but not the only measure of success. His community-based coalition building sparked reinvestment in the city. Colorful murals capture the spirit of Imperial Beach. Businesses invested in the beach town's front door. The pier is a fixture, and the surrounding area exudes life. Dedina implored those with resources to invest in the city, not just their businesses.
He's been a great voice for the city, really has been driven to bring attention to the problems that we have in our community. And so he's very much, I would say, an activist mayor.
Frank says Dedina's passion for community building and grassroots organizing put him at the forefront of her effort to open a co-op grocery store in a city that didn't have a supermarket when he took office. But there is one issue that dominated Dedina's 2 terms in office. Frank says it's cross-border sewage.
It's a serious public health issue and environmental disaster, and it really impacts people's lives. We have this wonderful beach here. Our kids and our families and tourists should be able to enjoy it every day. And yet, I know in the time that I've been here, the number of days that it's closed has really increased.
Dedina has pushed hard to fix an environmental disaster that has pummeled Imperial Beach for both of his 4-year terms. In 2018, the city sued the federal government, and an emotional Dedina took stock.
Me personally, it's a very emotional morning for me. Vivid memories of taking my kids to the emergency room. We have little kids here. Our kids are getting sick. Our lifeguard's getting sick. And sorry, it's been a long road and a really tough fight.
That lawsuit focused attention on the issue. Other South County governments joined, so did clean water groups. Dedina lobbied federal, state, and local officials for a solution as he watched the problem get worse. In April of 2020, he chided public officials for not acting.
The river flow in the Tijuana River should be 0 gallons a day during dry weather. Today, it is 60 million gallons a day. That's a minimum flow. The entire sewer system of Tijuana has collapsed, and it appears there are absolutely no efforts underway in Mexico or on the part of the U.S. federal government the Trump administration to actually move forward and ask for emergency repairs so we don't endure an entire summer of polluted beaches.
The first major break came in 2018 when $300 million was included in the USMCA trade deal. Tadina lobbied officials at all levels of government. By November of last year, federal officials crafted a $630 million plan to deal with the issue on both sides of the international border. Earlier this year, Mexico promised to add $147 million to fix Tijuana's sewage issues. A solution is finally in sight.
Indefatigable, never ceasing, constant.
David Gibson is the head of the Regional Water Quality Control Board.
And that's what I think that's took. This issue's been going on for a very long time. So what was different about it now? I think Surge offered that kind of perspective to elected officials in Mexico, as well as in San Diego and California and Washington, D.C.
Gibson says Tadina's drive and passion for a safe place to surf off the coast of Imperial Beach fueled the change. It finally has the South County beach town in reach of reopening ocean waters for recreation. And Tadina says the journey was uniquely Imperial Beach.
This is not anywhere else. You got to be cool and funky and grassroots and community, and that's what works here.
4 people are running to replace the incumbent, and whoever the next mayor is will find themselves surfing in Tadina's wake. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Governor Gavin Newsom is up for re-election this November. The Democrat is facing Republican challenger State Senator Brian Dahle. The only scheduled debate in this race for California governor is this Sunday. Bay Area public media station KQED is going to be hosting it and moderating it. Start time is set for 1 p.m. KPBS will carry the stream of the debate live at kpbs.org with a TV rebroadcast at 6 p.m. For more on the election, check out the KPBS Voter Hub. That's where you'll find all of our reporter stories, explainers of some of the key races, and in-depth ballot guide as well, tailored to your district. You can get there by clicking the Voter Hub link on the KPBS homepage. Some minority groups are more likely to be hospitalized for flu and less likely to be vaccinated. That's according to a new report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Mandy Gaither has more on the dangers of flu and what some believes needs to be done to break down barriers.
Flu season is here with high levels of the illness already reported in Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and New York City, according to the CDC.
The vaccine, however, can help prevent severe disease, may help prevent the flu in general.
A new report from the CDC shows flu shot uptake since the 2010-2011 season has been consistently lower among Black and Hispanic adults when compared to white adults. People in those groups were more likely to be hospitalized with flu during most seasons studied. According to the data from 2009 to 2022, flu hospitalizations were 80% higher among Black adults, 30% higher for adults who are American Indian or Alaska Native, and 20% higher for Hispanic adults.
We're talking about things like having to be hospitalized because you can't breathe, your shortness of breath is severe, your headaches are out of control, your fever is really, really high to the point that we worry that is going to cause potentially neurological damage.
The CDC says reasons for the disparities include lack of health care access and insurance, misinformation and distrust in vaccines, and missed opportunities to get vaccinated. Dr. Barbara Bauer with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says more needs to be done to improve access and erase vaccine stigma.
It's educating people on why we give it, educating and showing them potentially data on, how it can improve their chances.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Some huge changes in our weather as we take you through the weekend. All the warm Santa Ana weather that we had early in the week giving way to an onshore flow. That means it's going to be cool, it's going to be rather cloudy, and the winds will be on the increase too. And there could even be some showers around, especially on Saturday night. Winds on the increase, and the strong winds expected over the weekend here. We have some high wind warnings and some wind advisories, and they continue right through Sunday. So these winds could be damaging over the weekend. And why is it Changing so abruptly here. Well, a trough is diving down the west coast. Here it comes. And with this trough, we'll have that onshore flow. And with all this energy, we'll see the increasing winds. Not a lot of moisture, so just a lot of clouds and a couple of showers. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy. 66 is the forecast low. Looking at temperatures around the area, low 60s, Escondido, El Cajon, and in Borrego Springs. Mount Laguna dropping down to about 50 degrees. Now during the day, Saturday, our trough sweeping through. We'll be looking at the strong winds and the showers in the area. They arrive later Saturday into Saturday night. Here's a look at our temperatures on Saturday. Low 70s near the coast and into the interior valleys with a lot of clouds around. In the mountains, it'll be cool at Mount Laguna. Here's the way it looks on the future satellite and radar. Clouds galore to start off your Saturday. And then as we take you to Saturday evening, see some rain showers developing. There they go, spreading across the area overnight. During the day Sunday, it's the coolest day. And strong winds will be exiting off to the east. So as we take a look at the forecast, the coast, rather cloudy, a little bit of light precipitation. Milder air arrives on Monday. Interior valleys rather cloudy on Saturday. Nice weather returns by Monday. In the mountains, it's very windy out here with that cooler air coming on in. And as we take you out to the deserts, we're looking at some brisk winds and cooler temperatures here too. And for KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Mark Mancuso.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, challenges to President Biden's student debt relief program are rebuffed in the courts. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
There was a slight drop in San Diego County's jobless rate last month. The Employment Development Department says it was 3.1% in September. That's down 0.3 of a point since August. San Diego's numbers were a bit better than the state and national unemployment rates. San Diego's tourism numbers are also on the rise. That's after a pandemic drop. The American Hotel and Lodging Association compared this year's hotel revenues to 2019's. They're up for business travelers by 8.5%. And for leisure travelers, get this, up nearly 20%. In contrast, hotel revenues declined for San Francisco and Los Angeles, but there was a big jump for vacation travelers staying in Anaheim. Prices for nearby theme parks like Disneyland and SeaWorld are going up. SDSU's Miro Kopik has an update on how the industry is moving past the pandemic in this week's Friday Business Report.
Ticket prices at Disneyland, they've added more tiers. There's 7 tiers ranging from $104 to $179, depending on how crowded the park is any given day. On top of it, the Park Hopper Pass, the expensive one for the full park, is $244. So a family of 4 who buys a Park Hopper Pass on a busy day, along with the Genie Plus, is going to spend $1,100 to go for one day to Disneyland or California Adventure. SeaWorld, like Disneyland, has also increased their prices, and these theme parks are trying to catch up. And the good news for theme parks is 2022 and 2023 are going to be very good years, and they're going to return to where they were. But because of pent-up demand and the reduction of the worries around COVID, you're going to see visitors really flock to these parks. And because a lot of consumers have shifted from buying goods to experiences, this certainly bodes well for theme parks.
Your days of sharing streaming service passwords with family and friends, well, they may be numbered. Netflix has a plan to crack down on shared accounts starting next year. If you want to continue to share your account, an extra member option will allow users to create these sub-accounts under their main account for an additional fee, though. No word on what that fee could be, but during the testing, it cost around $3. Filmmaker Todd Field has stated that he wrote Tar specifically for actress Cate Blanchett, and if she had turned down the role, he would have shelved the project. KPBS film critic Beth Accomando says, fortunately, Blanchett accepted the role.
Lydia Tarr is many things.
I love movies about unsympathetic characters. Give me a Rupert Pupkin or a Daniel Plainview over a Maria von Trapp or Forrest Gump any day, which is why I love Todd Field's Tar, in which a riveting Cate Blanchett plays an arrogant but breathtakingly talented conductor named Lydia Tarr.
You cannot start without me. See, I start the clock. You know, my left hand, it shapes, but my right hand, the second hand, marks time and moves it forward. However, unlike a clock, sometimes my second hand stops, which means that time stops. Now, the illusion is that, like you, I'm responding to the orchestra in real time, making the decision about the right moment to restart the thing or reset it or throw time out the window altogether. The reality is that right from the very beginning, I know precisely what time it is and the exact moment that you and I will arrive at our destination together.
The film opens with Tar at the pinnacle of her career and then lets us watch her life unravel. It's an elegant, intensely detailed character study of an artist entirely consumed by her passion for music and her determination to get what she wants, no matter the cost. It examines what drives Tar and what an artist like her can survive on. It's a detached, unflinching portrait that never tells us how to feel or think about Tar, about allegations that arise, or whether we're to interpret the end as a punishment, a tragedy, or perhaps proof that all she needs is music, no matter what kind or who's listening. I love a film that consumes us with a complex character and then abandons us in a darkened theater to contemplate what it all means. Tar is as ruthless, brilliant, maddening, thrilling, and stunning as its protagonist. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Matt Hoffman. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.